Hello and welcome back to On Air with Dr. Pete. I'm your host, Dr. Pete Economo, and I'm excited for another episode of On Air. And thank you so much for listening and for being here this week. So today we have a very amazing guest all the way from Shanghai, Colin C. Thompson. He's a professional and personal coach with a dynamic approach to help with a commitment and of transformation. He guides his clients on a path towards success using mental fitness, which you hear a lot of on this episode, mental fitness, mental toughness. We're going to talk about that today. He believes that you have to push ourselves both physically and mentally. And I am so excited. Thank you, Colin, for being here.
Yeah, Dr. Peter, thanks for having me on your show. And as you know, I know your mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy. So I'm glad to be here today to talk about how your mind absolutely must be your best friend.
We have to make your mind your best friend, and I appreciate that. And we just for listeners, we had a little bit of technical issues, but just like good mental fitness people, we were able to pivot, and we are able to get here today. So tell the listeners about yourself, Colin.
So as Dr. Pete mentioned, I'm coming live and direct from Shanghai, China. I like to say I have a rich background. My family's Jamaican, and my family left that small, warm island of Jamaica and immigrated to that big, cold country of Canada. And then from Canada, we immigrated again into the United States back when I was, I think, in the early 1980s. So
Okay.
my background mindset has always been more international. My father was big on saying, look, no matter where you live, there's the way you do things in that culture, but there's the way people do things in other cultures as well. So I'm glad to say that not just being here in China now, but all my life I've tried to view things as there's more than one or two, three ways of doing the same thing. And
Mm-hmm.
all those ways could be right.
That's right.
But you know, Dr. Pete, in some cultures, there's two ways. There's our way and the wrong way.
That's right.
The wrong
Is
way.
that
So
more common in the Jamaican culture?
no, no, in different culture, different more red, white, and blue culture. It's more
Yeah.
common. It's a little more common. It's
Oh
a
boy,
little more
especially
common.
as we record this in 2025, that hits. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you reached out because you really believe in mindfulness and building mental fitness. So thank you for doing that. And I want to hear about your philosophy on mindfulness and mental fitness.
Yeah, and it's not more my philosophy. I did study the positive intelligence program. I did get certified as a positive mental fitness coach,
Hmm.
and mental fitness is quite easily to understand. It's our ability to get through this crazy, wonderful, tough, exciting thing called life while
Mm,
maintaining a positive mindset instead of a negative mindset.
yeah.
And that's all it is. It's how do you go through the ups and downs and just able to maintain a positive mindset. And even if you do get down, we all get down, just not staying down too long and understanding being down is part of life. You can't
Yes.
avoid it. It's just making sure that you have tools that help you to get back up, get back out easier. And when you see your friends and family are down, you're able to either give them space or help
Hmm.
them maintain that positive, get back to positive mindset as well.
I love that you said that because it's not just about. Sometimes you have to give them the space, like let them go through what they're going through. And I find, especially when I work with couples, or that's really hard for people. Or if it's like a high performing parent and their child is just being a child, which what children do developmentally, being able to watch the child do that, let the child fall, let them fall, and let them figure out how to get back up. Don't always be there to pick them back up. So, how do you think that would play into our lives? So mental fitness in general, maybe how does it play into your life and how does it play into like a listener's life about ways to do that?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned a child
Yeah.
because back in 2021, that's when I first started to really work on my mental fitness.
Hmm.
And my son, who is now almost six, he was two and a quarter. And I don't know what happened right when he hit two. Dr. Pete, I don't know if you have kids or not, but that terrible two thing is
Yeah,
real.
it
I
is.
don't know I don't know what happens. But in my household, every night at bedtime, he
Yeah.
will leave the shower. It's my job to get from the shower into bed and go to sleep.
Oh, that's one
And
of the
for
toughest jobs.
I did not know that
Yeah.
because I did my first child.
Yeah.
So we would have World War III every single night.
Uh-huh.
And he would see a side of me that I really wasn't comfortable him seeing. When I
Uh-huh.
grew up, I would see my father getting really, really upset,
Yeah.
yelling. I did not want that same thing in my household. And I told my wife, I said, honey, tomorrow, no matter what, no matter what he does, I would not get upset.
Nice.
Dr. Pete, The next night, after the shower, in the bedroom, Quincy, go to sleep. I about lost my mind that night. It did not work. It did not work. But what it taught me was I had to approach my mental fitness the same
Yes.
way I would approach training for a race
Yeah.
or getting in shape.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a 5K run, a 5K race, you can't do that day one.
Right.
You have to train for it.
You got to build up for it. Yep.
Yeah, first day in the gym, you're not going to bench 220.
No.
So what I realized is to build up my mental fitness, I must approach it step by step by step. Instead of taking something so personal, so deep, like my son and his bedtime stuff, 2 years old, which the first time father can't handle, I
Mm-hmm.
decided let me start with a pet peeve. So I equate a pet peeve, something small that gets you upset for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, not
Yeah.
too long.
Yeah.
Start there. For me, that was open microwave doors, right? So with that, I started there, and I was slowly able to go to bigger pet peeve, bigger pet peeve. But the important thing is approaching it as if you're training for an exam or you're training for a physical feat. Start small. But what we always do, and my clients do this, they want to take on the biggest frustration or pain or challenge they have. And they fail because they're starting too big day one. So my
Nice.
approach to mental fitness is look at it like you want to build up over time. And just one thing to add here,
Yep.
my two-year-old son was just being a 2-year-old son, a
That's
two-year-old
it.
child.
That's
That's
it.
it. That's it.
Yeah. Now, intellectually, you could understand that, but it really gets hard to truly put into practice. So, I love the vulnerability of owning that, and I know you are a certified life coach as well, and empowering your clients to unleash their inner potential. We could all use a little help with that. I know we said in today's world. So, tell us how you work with clients to achieve, reaching that inner potential.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of clients come with different backgrounds and different goals. Some clients come because they really don't know how to start going after a goal.
Mm-hmm.
Some may not know how to continue going after a goal.
Mm-hmm.
Some may say, you know what, I really have no goals, but something has to change because my life isn't where I want it to be.
Yeah.
So one of the first things we do is I like to do an exercise called flash forward. I say, imagine having a conversation with yourself, but not yourself in the past. You're talking to yourself 20, 30 years from now,
Yeah.
having lived your life up to here plus 20, 30 more. And that person has achieved all their goals during great physical and mental health. What questions would you have for that person?
Mm. Nice.
And yeah, and by understanding what questions they would have, here's what I say. I say, okay, now what would your wiser older self say? How would they
Nice.
answer those questions? So then the client is looking at it from both perspectives, and that really helps them to look at, okay, here's where I want to go, and
Yeah.
potentially here's where it may get in my way, and here's what I need to start focusing on to make sure that doesn't get in my way. So it's really
Yeah.
allowing the client to look at visualizing, having a conversation with yourself about your future.
It's always about perspective. And another thing I really enjoyed about your message when you reached out was like your birthday run. I thought that was really cool. So tell us about your birthday run.
Yeah, well, let me just first say it is not cool.
It is
it
cool, but
is not cool.
but go ahead.
It's coming up in about 3 weeks. So back in 2000 and no, yeah, 2000, I want to say 2010, I believe it was. I being an ex athlete, being an ex collegiate athlete.
Yes.
At the time, I was around 36, so that's a good 16 years out of college. So I should have.
What did you play just for listeners?
I wrestled. I wrestled.
Yes.
I wrestled in college.
Yep.
And at 37, I was doing a lot of running, marathons, whatnot, and I had to prove I still had it.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I've done a marathon. That's not enough. And I said, let me go ahead and run my age in miles on my birthday. At that time, it was like 36 miles. And
Mm-hmm.
it was tough. It was very, very tough. It's August heat. It was very, very tough. But Dr. Peter realized that at that point, I was doing it for the wrong reasons.
Mm.
I was doing it to prove I still had it,
Right.
which is never the reason to drive you. Now I
Yes.
do it because I just enjoy. Well, enjoy. It's not cool. Now I
Well,
do.
but it's a goal. It's a goal that you're achieving.
Yeah, it's a goal, and it's so the birthday run is one thing. So I give myself 24 hours to run all to cover that distance. A lot of walking, right? So this year I'll have 52 miles, and I don't do it from start to end. I'll do maybe let's say 10 miles and
Yeah.
then take a few hours break. And I'll break it up throughout the day. I'll be running at 2, 3 a.m., blah, blah, blah. But it's a
Wait,
training
wait, wait,
for
wait. Don't blah 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 that. You'll be running at 2 or 3 a.m.
well, so in Shanghai, it gets hot here in August, very hot in August.
Okay. Yeah.
So one of the things I have to do is I have to really try to plan out when to start.
Okay.
So my training runs usually go from 3, 4 a.m. to about 6, 7 a.m. Because once that
Wow.
sun comes out, it's game over.
Okay.
It's game over. So the birthday run takes place. I'll probably start around I think around 7 p.m. in the evening, and then finish up, through the night and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's a training that's really tough because I like the training to imagine you're like a 12-year-old boy and
Mm.
you take your report card home, all F's, all D's and F's,
Hmm.
and your dad's gonna wear you out. He's gonna wear that butt out when you get home. Now imagine having to do that every single day,
Yeah.
right? That's what the training for reminds me of because
Yeah.
running in the heat and running 3 hours in the morning, it's not fun, but
It's
it
not
does
fun.
make me deal with my emotional my emotional side of
Wait,
a lot of emotions.
well, I know you meant you. I know you mentioned that about the running, and it also just clicks about the wrestling though too, because wrestlers are different athletes in that way, and a lot. I don't know if was it like. Did you guys have the heated rooms where you were practicing?
Of course we did.
Okay,
The
I
heated
wasn't sure how
room
long that's been going on.
and the suits on. The
Yeah.
suits you can't
Okay.
have anymore. The
So
garbage bags.
I'll let you know how weak I am when I go into the rest. I'm always like I'll find like the training room or there's some area where there's some air. I'm always standing. That's where I'll stand. That's it. Like
Really?
I can't cut it. Yeah, you guys are different. That's what I'm saying. Like so you guys as so you still have that inner potential of a wrestler where you're like obviously a really high performer.
Well, I think it's different. I think now it's more. I would say it's more my running side, or it's more my athlete side.
Right.
Because as much I wrestle, I think I was just been in football.
Yeah.
So it's just that athlete's mindset. Be it because I do triathlons also. It's just go go go. Because part of it is I realize that once you stop doing a lot of things, it's very very hard to get going again. Like every year you run, you have the 3 months off. Once you
Yeah.
start training again, it takes months to get back to where you were.
Months. Yeah.
Months,
Well,
months.
as you know, I work with a lot of college athletes, and now
Right.
there's like no time off anymore. I mean, back in our day, at least there was time off. I mean, this way today they don't really, American football they'll get like a couple weeks here and there, and that's
Mm-hmm.
a really taxing sport. But you're being really humble here because you are a Hall of Famer at Howard University, right?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, I am.
That,
I don't have the ring out tonight, but it's very, very proud, very, very proud of that.
yeah.
And that just happened, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh
So
wow!
we just were
Congratulations.
inducted, thank you, a
Yeah.
few years ago. Very, very proud of that. And the reason being, I have almost all my family went to Howard before me. I was
Is
the
that right?
youngest.
Oh yeah. Nice. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And because of that, I got into Howard because Howard is an academic school. I was that dumb jock in high school. I'll
Yeah.
admit I was there for the girls and sports. When I graduated, when I graduated, I only applied to two or three schools, and I didn't
Mm,
even I wasn't thinking about it. University of Louisville, my home school, said no. Right?
yeah.
It's so funny. Louisville said no. Howard said yes,
Yeah.
but it was strictly because
Your
family,
family.
and I was an athlete there. I
Yeah.
was on the probation the first semester, so
Wow.
I'm very happy to say that only because of how I got in. But I'm
Sure.
very happy to say that when I graduated, I had like a 3.6 GPA. So
Wow.
I definitely good turnaround, and yeah. So I'm very proud to say that not only did I go to Howard University and really got in, but I'm now enshrined in the Hall of Fame.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, obviously well earned. What do you think? What would you say you learned during that period? Because I do think that being a college student athlete really teaches us a lot. But what would you say you learned the most?
I don't I don't think being I don't think anything that I found to be useful later in life. Really, because I mean, you learn how to
Yeah.
train hard, be loyal to your teammates, be loyal to your teammates, right?
Hmm.
You learn that. But I'm a fraternity, same thing. What I think though is what I learned the most is at some point you have to let it go.
Yes.
You have to let it go. Once I graduated university and got into the real world, I was like, okay, what am I going to be known for or do
Sure.
now?
Yeah.
So it was a lot of, I think it taught me, what I learned was is you have to have balance in university. Even if an athlete, it can't just be sports.
Yeah.
It must be academics. It must be clubs. It has to be a lot of different things. So when you graduate, you have that side to lean into.
I love that. Well, one of my coaches said to me, "You have academics, social, and athletics. Pick two. You can't have all three." And me being me, I was like, "I'm gonna show you, you know, because I'm gonna have all three." But knowing what I know today, like you then have to sacrifice certain aspects of it, so you're not thriving as much as you can, and really making sure you have this like well-rounded values, and that there's other parts of your life where you're not just one thing. Is what I hear you saying.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and it's different now. The spotlight on college sports now is very, very different.
very different.
And luckily with Howard, Howard is again academic school, so
Yes,
there's not much pressure. But those sports teams now are also getting more eyeballs on them. The golf team there was sponsored by Stephen basketball player. Um,
Curry, Curry.
yeah, Stephen Curry. He's the
Yeah,
one who got that going. So a lot more eyes are
nice.
there now. And their track team has no time off. They're all
Yeah,
year round.
yeah,
When I was a student athlete, track had winter break, track had summer break,
yeah.
but now it's all year round. So very,
Well,
very different now.
and just for listeners that might not know, I mean, Howard University is, like you said, an academic school. It's a great university, a great school, and it's an HBCU, which is a historically black college university. And so there's a like the history there is so rich. And uh, I'm going to go with this really quick because I think this is important to say. Right before, because college sports has changed so much. Right before COVID, there was the NCAA published the transformation report, and whenever I talk about this the example I always give is Howard, because you have Howard competing with Alabama. You know, I mean, Alabama's basketball budget is Howard's entire budget. You know, for as one example, and so the transformation was like report was saying there's so many. There's not an equal playing field, and so fast forward to 2025 as we're recording now. In the last 5 years, we've had a global pandemic, we've had NIL, name image and likeness,
Mm-hmm.
we've had revenue share now, which we're not even sure exactly how that's going to play out. And so we went from transformation report a few years ago to now Alabama's spending however much they're spending. We don't even know because they don't have to report it because they could pay athletes now. And Howard's not going to be able to do it. It's always the example I give because yet they still stay competitive. You know, they stay competitive, like you said, with, you know, golf and track and some of
Right.
the Olympic sports. But, you know, they are in the FBS, you know, for football, I think, or maybe that's FCS. Either
I think
way,
FCS.
maybe it's
Yeah.
FCS. Either way, high level football. That's still high level. You know, I mean, you know, they're still often coming. And I know actually at Rutgers we played them, and I know Rutgers holds a very dear place in in your memory.
Yeah. Yeah. Move on. Right.
Well, we'll have to give them. We were talking about Louisville, and I think that was 2010 to be exact, actually. When
2010.
yeah,
Yeah.
so there
Yeah.
was a Louisville Rutgers game that broke Colin's
Louisville's
heart.
chances. Yeah.
Yeah,
Broke our chance to go to the big game.
yeah,
That's all right.
but that's
That's
college
wrong.
sports, right? Is that's another thing? And I'll go back to what you just said, letting go. And so actually,
Yeah.
Louisville had to let go, you know, and
Yeah.
as people have to let go. So how do you work with clients, you know, around letting go, for example?
Well, empathy. Empathy.
Love that.
So one of the things I tell my clients is when you're getting upset with yourself, see, we get upset with three situations: ourselves, other people, or the environment.
Yeah,
I said, I want you to visualize every time you get upset with anybody, you're hurting yourself.
yeah.
I want you to take a dart and stab yourself in the arm. Okay. That's what you're doing every single time you get upset with somebody else, yourself, or environment, because you're taking your emotions to a negative place.
Yes.
Right. So I want you to think about and talk to me about why are you comfortable harming yourself?
Mm.
And by asking them questions like that, to show them that, yes, indeed, they're harming themselves every time they get upset.
Yeah.
So what you have to do is learn how to hot stove it, right? It's called hot
Mm.
stove.
Yeah.
So Dr. Pete, if you put your hand on a hot stove, what do?
Yeah. Hopefully, what do? You pull it away fast.
Pull it away fast, aka let it go.
Let it go.
Right.
Yeah.
So I tell my when you get mad, think of a hot stove. A hot stove is a great alarm to tell you something is not right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let it go. Whatever got you on a hot stove, let it go. Now it's not easy to let it go.
No.
Right. It's not easy to let it go. But you have to sit on your bed and think about what you couldn't let go last time. That's recurring because everybody has that person at work that says that knows how to push your buttons, right?
Yeah.
You know tomorrow they're going to push your buttons. Before you go to work tomorrow, close your eyes and say, no matter what they do tomorrow, I'm going to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's too tough, start with something easier. Going back to a pet peeve, right?
Yeah.
Learn how to let things go. And by learning how to let go of the easy things, the harder things will become easy later.
Should
But learn
people
how to, yeah.
should people inventory their pet peeves?
I think you should inventory the heavier ones
Yeah. Just
because
know
those
they're
ones
there.
carry more weight. You put those, as they say, baseball. Put those ones in the batter's box.
Yeah.
That's coming up next. The
Yeah.
pet peeves. Sometimes pet peeves. We have to think about what's a. I mean, ask somebody to think of 5 pet peeves. You'll be there all day, right?
Yeah.
Say what are 5 things that bother you? They'll say spouse, bills, friends.
Yeah, they'll have a whole
right,
list.
right down the list.
Yep. They have a whole list. Wait, what do you mean by live life by design? I love that.
So yeah, so live life by design is something I've been talking about for years, and I didn't coin that, of course, but I remember hearing by I think it was Jim Rohn years ago. The best life to live is a life by design because
Mm,
that means that you've thought this out and you're living your dreams. If you think about where you want to be in 10 years, as opposed to just showing up in 10 years somewhere,
yeah.
it's a very different mindset. So it's about being very intentional on how you're living your life. Now, I'm not saying have a 5 year goal, have a
Yeah.
10-year goal or dream, right? But I am saying that when you make decisions that are based on how you want to live your life.
Yeah.
Not making a decision because you're being forced to do that. For example, taking a job because it pays good, but that job is not doing any good for the world, right? Versus a
Hmm.
job that's doing great for the world, saving lives, but pays terrible. What's more aligned with your life, right? And going that way. So it's really about understanding, making decisions based on a life you want to have, and not having life make decisions for you.
You mentioned goals, which I think are really important. I'm sure you work a lot with goals and establishing goals with your clients. And so, what about for you? Like, what about goals that you're trying to reach in your professional career?
Yeah, and thank you for saying professional, because if not, I would tell you. Well, let me tell you my ultimate personal goal.
Let's hear that.
And
Yeah.
the more I talk about this, the more I realize I still have that athlete thing in my head, because my number one goal in life is to complete a full Ironman. And it may not resonate with a lot of people, but I want that Ironman tattoo. I want it
Nice.
badly, because
Yeah.
especially at my age now. And anyways, that's personal.
I
On
love
the
that.
professional side, my goal is an ongoing, recurring goal is to be able to give my family a lifestyle where they're comfortable and not in need through my business. And my
Yeah.
business is coaching, training, facilitating, speaking. So my business, I decided this years ago, my business, my future is based on what comes out of my mouth.
Yeah.
That's it. No tools, no how strong I am here. It's based on what comes out of my mouth.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to use my mouth and my mouth alone to provide my family a lifestyle that allows them to live a life without need.
I love that. Yeah. And it's values, connecting with your values, understanding what's important for you. And how are you at bedtime now?
Say it again.
How are you at bedtime now? Like, have you found the way?
So let me one of the biggest shifts was when I realized that, and when I just sat down and I watched him, and instead of me getting mad because he was hopping over bed and saying "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy,"
Yeah.
I realized he's kind of funny.
Yeah.
He's kind of cute.
Yeah.
And then I said, you know what? Let me read a book to him.
You
So
change the
now,
perspective.
even now, that nighttime part
Yeah.
is our best time of the day.
Yeah. I
We
love
we,
that.
we love it. And I remember my wife saying, "Colin, you've changed so much."
Yeah.
And when your spouse says that to you, that's like,
Ooh, that's you should get a certificate. You should get like an award, a certificate. Yeah,
yeah,
I had a client I worked with, and as a couple, they would meditate during bedtime because it is such a stressful thing, especially in around that toddler age. So they would go in the room and just meditate, and whatever craziness and tantrums they were throwing, just sit there and meditate, and it really modeled that. And it took a lot of
yeah,
mental fitness to be able to do that as a parent.
yeah, absolutely. And but that taught me though that it can work, because
Absolutely.
that I mean, I would leave that room just so upset, just so wound up,
Yeah.
that my wife would know, don't talk to Colin right now.
Give him some
And
break.
then just
Yeah.
a few months later, we're happy. So that's what had me believing that I could apply that to other aspects of my life. And I'm happy to say that it takes a lot now to get me upset,
Yeah.
because I'm able to use my mental fitness, which has been built up over time, and just, you know what? I don't have to win the argument.
Yeah.
let it go. Just
Let
let
it
it go.
go.
Just
Let
let
it
it
go.
go.
Really, really good advice. Well, this went, thanks so much for being here today, Colin. This was really, really amazing. Where can listeners learn about your services?
ColinCThompson.com. Very easy. ColinCThompson.com.
ColinCThompson.com. So again, thank you, even just for your flexibility today and the technology and all the things that we got through, and we let it go, and we
Let it
and we
go.
and we did it on the other side of the world. So I'm beginning my day, and you are going to start getting ready for bedtime.
Yeah. And Dr. Pete, hey, thank you for your platform because I think I've watched some of the episodes. What you're doing is great because you're allowing your guests to share their message, but
Yes.
also share parts of the personal life and to laugh. So
Yeah.
thank you for the platform.
I appreciate that too. So thank you for those that are listening at home, and your support is always greatly appreciated. So please like and follow and share. Everything's at officialdrpete.com. And I'll see you back next week. So until then, spread a little kindness and stay well.